everyone, and welcome to the Town of Douglas Conservation Commission meeting for Monday, November 4th, 2019, and 7 p.m. First item on the agenda is a request for determination of applicability, 107 Wallum Lake Road, Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Douglas State Forest. Come on over to the table.
Stand here?
Yes, did you, let me just grab the newspaper article.
On the 24th.
The Town of Douglas Conservation Commission will hold a public meeting for Commonwealth of Massachusetts on November 4th, 2019 at 7 p.m. in the Municipal Center, 29 Depot Street, for work to be done pursuant to the Town of Douglas Wetland Bylaw and the Wetland Protection Act, Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40. The proposed request for determination of applicability work location is Douglas State Forest, and the applicant is requesting permission to remove dead and dying trees located in the picnic area, parking lots, and access roads that are hazardous to the public. Name and address.
Yes, right now we have a lot of dead trees. We have over 250 trees marked to be taken down. Right from our headquarters at our entrance, all the way down to the boat ramp, through the picnic area, and all our parking lots. Every one of them.
Could I grab your name and address?
Carrie
for the
Van
record?
Acker.
Thank you.
Yep.
For the record. Okay.
And what we want to do is, what the plan is to have a showing later this month for people to bid on taking that wood. And in the hopes that January, February, when the ground's the most solid, minimal impact, especially on our picnic area, we plan on taking down many trees. Many of them fall within 100 feet of a wetland, either Wallum Lake or just like the boat ramp road in particular that has a lot of wetlands on either side. The idea is, once they're taken down, we've already lost 3 trees in the last 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. Just every time it blows, it's scary. So these trees really have to come down. The red pine, the oak, gypsy caterpillars, 3 years, wiped them out. The red pine, you got red pine scale, some are dead already. And the foresters believe the rest of them will be dead in the next year or 2. So the idea is to take them all down, so when the heavy equipment comes in, we do it all at once, so to minimize the impact on our area. After that comes spring. The idea is not to take out the stumps. The idea is to grind them the best we can and just cover them. Clean it up, cover them over.
You're grinding all of them?
Grinding
or
is
just the picnic area?
No, just the picnic area. We will
Okay.
not grind anything
That's what
other
we're
than
worrying
what's in the
about.
picnic area.
Okay.
One, you couldn't get to them, and the other is, what's the purpose?
Right, okay, I just want to clarify.
So these photos are taken before the leaves came down in October, so you can kind of see the contrast between, so this is on the boat ramp. This is kind of a typical situation where obviously the trees are gone, you come in, and I kind of just went around, there's some more of them. This is going towards the picnic area, so this is all the picnic area. If you happen to go out there now, you see it right, Carrie, they all have a red.
They're all marked, every one of them.
So, the leaves are gone on all the healthy ones, but all the dead ones you can see.
The brown, yep.
And the hazard of being in the picnic area, limbs coming down and.
Yep. Just had an oak this big come down this Friday.
Kill somebody. Looks like a lot of these puny dead trees are pretty young. I mean, a lot of small ones too.
No, pretty much, they're all, like that one right there, they're all over a foot
Right.
Those are big
in
trees.
diameter.
Yeah, they're big trees.
The pine trees, they're very tall.
Yeah, but some of the earlier slides.
There's really no little trees.
Okay.
I don't think anything less than 6, 8
And
inches.
out on the point, on this side, it's all through here too.
Yeah. The idea in here on that point, all the red pines to be taken out, but we're not worried about all the other oaks and the hardwoods. We're just gonna fill that in right with no problem.
Mhm.
What would you say the closest removal is going to be from a resource?
From the water,
Yeah.
oh, some of them are,
Right on.
might be right on it.
Yeah.
The ones in a point, there's some red pine that are probably within 12 feet.
They're not providing a lot of shade. They're already dead.
The boat ramp, those real big oaks are pretty much right in, the one right behind the Clivus is dead in the wetlands.
BBW, yeah, okay.
And then some of them, like even up in, is that Birdline Trail as it comes up, those are all outside our jurisdiction, a lot
Yeah.
of them, but they're marked all up into the uplands and
Well,
up into the upper parking lot area.
I saw a lot of trees that were marked, but I also saw there were dead trees way further in that weren't marked, which I appreciate that you're leaving some of the dead stuff in the forest up.
Right, we're only getting what will affect the public.
Right.
Power lines,
Right.
We
gravel
still get some
roads.
like potential habitat from the
A
stuff
lot of
that's
these- a lot
further
of these
in.
are outside, but here's one that fell close to your cabin.
That just fell, just like a week ago.
And what's the process for the wood removal?
Depending on who bids on it,
Yeah.
we don't know. A lot of, they might be chipped for biomass. Some could go for cordwood, but it really depends on who bids and who gets the bid,
Okay.
what
No
they'll do with it.
preferential treatment for Douglas people?
I don't think they
I don't know how it works, but-
Yeah, I don't think that would work that
No.
way. Whether Hurley would bid on it, you know, he has the opportunity if he really wanted to.
Okay,
So we don't discriminate, but we don't have any regular home fuel wood where regular
Yeah.
public can go in and take
okay.
it,
Oh, it would be a contract, okay, yep.
like we used to do.
Right.
Okay.
We used to have that.
Yeah, okay, all right. Vaguely remembered something like that.
And that was kind of a liability because of all the individuals out there.
Yeah, but,
They get to go there anyway.
yeah,
Everybody gets to go there, right? If a tree
get-
falls on you, well,
yeah, good cheap wood
yeah,
All right,
for fuel.
yeah.
6 people.
Okay, Gord, do you have any questions on this? I mean, there's really no, debate
That's a
on,
lot of trees.
that is a lot
It
of
is.
trees.
It's
But
horrible.
when was the last time, I mean, you really have never
Never.
done this? Yeah.
We've taken one or two here
Yeah.
or there when they fall, deal with it, but this is,
the
I
only
mean, even
time.
last year, it wasn't anywhere like this. But come spring, all of a sudden, you just saw it. It was just
Mhm.
all dead. I
Mhm.
mean, look at Southwest Main Street.
Mhm.
You know, some of those areas, we're not touching those, but they're extremely, it's like a wilderness. It's really bad. I mean, we hate this, because one
Yeah.
of the draws of Douglas State Forest is even on the hottest days, there's a lot of shade.
Yeah,
So once we cut them, we'll see what we got. A lot of the hardwoods that are remaining, hopefully they should just grow right in.
okay.
But there will be some sun, obviously, getting in. And in the future, we may have to start thinking of planting trees. The only thing is, we got to,
Put
fence
fence
it
around
off,
them,
fence
yeah.
them off, just so no one touches
I was
them.
gonna say the same thing, I'd love to see replanting, but I don't think you'll know where or if you should until after you've taken them out.
Yeah. The point, we might need to put one in there, because the pines, like 6 of them, it's gonna push it back a little bit, but the rest of it, we gotta see if the rest of the hardwood will take over.
Mhm.
You know, once they all have some breathing room, and they don't take too long to move right in,
Mhm.
and that's the hope.
Alright, so condition of grinding stumps in picnic area only. Notify Steve before the work begins, because it's a couple months away.
I had a question, and I was wondering if there is any chance that some of the biomass could remain in the forest, because I know that the trees today aren't as strong as they were 200 years ago, because when we forest, we take those nutrients out of the soil and they don't get replaced.
The areas that are not wetland, if they decide to chip, they're gonna broadcast spread it right into the
Okay,
woods.
yep,
You know, for a year, they try to do it only about an inch or two,
right, because otherwise
just
it'd kill them
broadcast
up.
spread it, and if it, for a year, it doesn't look particularly great. Happened at Wells State Park, camping area, but as soon as the fall comes, the leaves come, and the sun makes them brown, it looks a lot better. But
Okay,
that is the part of the plan, is the
Okay.
broadcast spread,
when you're not in the wetlands.
yes,
Okay, awesome.
especially the tops. You know, if they decide to take the main trunk, I can't, you know,
Oh,
but
yeah.
all the red pine, they're gonna be all,
Okay, is
No,
that in
shit.
the scope of the bid work, or
it would
this
be.
broadcast? Okay.
Yeah, we do not want to deal with it. We want them to take the tree and take care of it, you
Okay.
know, because it's just too much for a couple guys.
Okay. I don't think we can condition that, but he's
Nope.
telling us that it's gonna happen,
I was
so,
curious, yeah.
within the scope of their contract for the bid. Do you have any other questions? I'll entertain a motion.
I forgot your second order. The first one was
Issue a
grinding.
negative, oh,
Negative
the
RDA
conditions?
with a condition of grinding in the picnic area
only,
only, so no stumping.
Contacting Steve before.
And then I would notify Steve
cause
before
it's
start
like
of
Oh,
work.
yeah.
January, February, so.
Yep,
Just in case somebody's traumatized with all those trees moving.
Typically, from what I hear, when the contractors come out, it takes a week or two.
Mm-hmm,
Wow.
So
okay,
we will close the park,
Mhm,
the
okay.
entrance during that period.
okay, alright.
I'll second the motion.
Motion been made and seconded, all is in favor?
I,
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
See you, Carrie. Good
Yeah,
luck.
we'll be in touch. I
Okay.
got another matter too sometime.
Okay, no problem.
Want to take one quick agenda item? We have about 4 minutes. Discussion?
You wanna do the violation?
Sure.
So, 144 Southeast Main, so I was out,
Come on over.
across the street looking at the crossing, all the rain we had, Halloween night.
oh, yes.
And as I drove away, I noticed the gentleman, hi, you want to state your name for that?
Tyler O'Connor.
Tyler O'Connor. You must purchase the house, I know the house from the owner, whoever the owner is, he owns 2 houses down.
Okay.
So I knew we filed a notice of intent, and that area was, had a filing, and he just got a certificate of compliance, so, the gentleman is doing work within the in the buffer zone. So, the following night, I went back, typed this up, and I put this on his deck, with the as-built plan. Because given it's so dark, I didn't want him to start over the weekend, you know, and do any more destructive damage than he already has. So when I see the photos, it's from so here's, you see here, there's the house, that's the house right here, so I'm standing right here, taking a picture of the photo. So all the work is within the buffer zone.
It's about the 40 to the 25, maybe.
Could be.
Do you see any remnants out there of flags on the right side?
No, actually, we attempted to do our due diligence here, because I looked at the DP wetlands maps. There's no notification of anything on there. I looked through the assessor's database one with that overlay, still nothing was there. So we were under the impression that we didn't have anything to be concerned with. I did walk it today and measure it out.
Yeah.
The majority of the work is outside of 30 feet,
Okay.
with the exception of 2. One does fall within, I believe it was about 18 to 20 feet, and then one did fall in the blue section there.
Was it cut or did it fall?
Well, it was dead,
Okay.
and the guy that was doing the work cut it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, the majority of everything that we've been taking out, it's all oaks.
Mhm.
And it all has evidence of damage from gypsy moths, and a lot of it was risk trees, with the exception of a couple that are still remaining there. Those were, you can see the one that has the leaves on it there is the only one that's decent, but that's actually the one that has the only risk of falling on the house.
Yeah, so where that grading, the red grading is for the septic, it's right on the edge of the 25. Yeah. So you see the mounded system in the picture there? It's at totally the slope there.
So the Y falls right about here. And it's a huge split all the way down to the base, and you can see there's rotting at the base of that as well. So that's really what kind of got us into doing this, is our intent is just to kind of extend the yard, give the kids a nice, safe, flat place to play over there. And again, we didn't know there was anything over there.
Yeah, so the property, you know, you got the notice of intent, and the original owner, usually if there's a notice of intent and someone purchases it, then during your title search, and it,
Yeah, you forgot to check the registry of deeds.
well, the title search would come up because it's a lien, and it'd say, you know, the store order.
An order,
But he
yeah.
got a certificate of compliance
When
before,
was that?
probably before he sold it.
Okay.
I was never notified of anything existing.
Just on the record under this address, he's saying there was a
Right.
certificate.
Okay.
So under the title search, when you purchased it, the attorney would have seen that.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
probably.
Yeah, nothing was notified to myself or my wife on that.
And what about the pipe at the, looks like a driveway that you've put in?
Yeah, it was just an access, 15-inch, 20-foot long, DOT approved culvert pipe
Okay,
with the
did you get a
appropriate angle for
Permit
it.
from John Furno, from the
No, we
highway
didn't.
department for a
Nope.
driveway?
No,
Okay.
the intention is not to keep it,
Okay.
so
Will you
it was
put a pipe
temporary.
in?
Yep.
Is the pipe gonna be gone?
Once the work is done
Yeah.
and the equipment, because the equipment couldn't access that area without driving over the septic, which wouldn't do. But my intention is to remove it.
Can you pull up the, assessors with the,
I actually have the
GIS?
printout for you too.
okay, thank you.
You'll see there's a few of each, both the assessors and the national wetlands. That's the assessors, and a couple copies on the national one as well, with no notification. The one across the street's on there, quite
Yeah.
evidently.
Yeah, okay.
What's the address?
144 Southeast Main.
If you go to layers, they look like-
That's why we never use the Mass GIS.
Oliver.
Yes. So, yeah, so it's, Mass GIS is taken from aerial photography,
Okay.
and it's done, it's actually infrared when they fly over it at certain times of year, so they pick up anything that's wet.
Okay.
And so it's really for a planning tool, so if you happen to see a wetland in that area, it's probably, a good bet there is wetlands, and it's actually probably a lot larger.
Okay.
But it doesn't pick up everything, because with the wetlands, how these flags were done in the Wetlands Protection Act is based on vegetation and hydrology.
Right. I actually spoke to a few guys that came out, and based off of the vegetation that was existing, which is all oaks, it's my understanding that typically oaks don't
Yeah.
survive in
If you
wetlands.
see in this
Well, it's in the
area-
buffer.
Yeah.
The oaks were
buffer.
in the buffer, not in the
So
actual
if you
wetland.
see right in here, there's a wetland right through here, and then you'll see there's a culvert that
Yeah,
comes
it's-
in, comes on
Yeah,
in.
I know there's a
Channelized.
pipe that goes
And then-
across.
So that, yeah, so that, this is.
My understanding was
this
that
is
was
your
for the
wetland
road
area
drainage.
here.
Okay.
And then everything, so with the flags or the edge of the wetland, jurisdiction of the commission is everything is inside the flags and 100 feet outside.
Okay.
So that's why the pink
Our
is,
jurisdiction's
yep,
up
I
to
follow.
halfway through your house.
Which is another question too, because then how can I even mow my lawn?
You're allowed to
No.
because this
You
is
had
the
a permit.
landscaped
Yeah.
area.
Order
There
of conditions.
There was?
there
Okay.
is
Yeah.
no guide.
Yeah,
Right.
again, I don't know what was
So this-
existing
this-
before,
This was
so.
all filed in order for the person to build the house.
Okay.
And so what was filed was everything in the dark.
Right.
And then so after he built it, he got his permit, he came in front of the commission before he cleared the land, he got permit to do the work in the black.
Okay.
And then after he built it, because it's a lien on the property,
Yeah.
he got a certificate.
Right.
And everything in red is the as-built to say he matched what he got a
Okay.
permit for.
And then we would have
Then
approved
he
that
went
and
to the
said,
reg-
yeah, close
And then
enough.
so that
Right.
certificate went to register your deeds.
Okay.
They took the lien off the property.
Okay.
And then you probably purchased it after.
Yep.
But, I mean, that being said, yes, you can mow your lawn, but even if you wanted to take a tree out that was here, you would have to come to the board.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, until this was on my doorstep, I had no idea that there was even
Yeah,
wetlands
well.
close to the property
Yeah.
on this side of the street.
And I stopped by a couple of days and, you know, Friday and then Saturday a couple times, but, just so I could talk to you, so you're probably wondering what was going on.
Well, yeah, I mean, I saw you on my camera system, but once I was on the doorstep, I understood.
Okay, so this is a violation. So let's take care of that first, and then we'll come up with a game plan moving forward.
Yep. Think we should do the same thing we did last time?
Yep. I'll entertain a motion.
Move to issue the $100 fine for the violation of the wetlands bylaws.
Okay, motion made.
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So next, what is your plan for what you want to do there?
Sure. Are you able to pull the pictures back up? Sure. Just so I can kind of show you what I mean there. So right now, there's 5 remaining trees. In this photo, the two,
Wanna go
actually,
back?
no, this is that's a good one. So what you're seeing is 5 remaining trees on that space there.
One,
Ideally,
1, 2, 3.
well, the split is actually 1 stump. I don't know if
And
you
that's
guys
at
count that
30
as 2
feet?
trees.
No, one tree. Only one tree.
That
There,
is
point.
outside of 30 feet.
I see it. It's like behind the one.
Yeah, so
One-
that
one
one's
into the
actually
line.
just about at the 50-foot line.
Okay.
And then there's one to the right of that, right near the cursor on the screen there. That one's also at just about the 50-foot line. And then there are 2 more just beyond that, but they also fall outside of 30. All right, so that's... And I think there's 1 more actually that falls inside of 30. Kind of tough to see on that, but yeah, so there is one that falls about 20 feet from the wetland line. And then everything else is outside of 30 or 50.
Do you have any remnants, or did you just scale it off the plan?
So, what do you mean?
Like remnants of flags or any?
No, nothing.
So is there a
Yep.
stone wall? How do you know it's 50 feet or 30 feet?
Because using the scale on the map and a tape measure, I was able to determine distance from the road and property
Okay.
markers.
Okay. So you have 5 total trees that you still like to take down,
Yes.
and 2 of them are at the 50.
It looks like 3.
3 are at
Yep,
the
so
50.
the split, the one in the middle, and then the one that's in front of the split tree on the left there. Which 2 out of those 3 are actually dead. And then there's, actually you can see it right by the chipper. There's a couple by the chipper there that are also dead.
Did you have an arborist out there, or?
Yes.
Okay, so did they, give you that information that they were dead?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, and what about the, material and that pipe and
Yep,
the
so.
future use of the land?
Future use is just to bring in some grass, maybe a garden or something towards the front, outside of the 50-foot area. And then the wood chips that are on site, I actually intend to use those on the opposite side of the property, which falls outside of this. I have a small garden and kind of compost area over there. And then the logs are going to be, in time, split up, chopped up, and actually given to family members and
Yeah.
off the property. There's a few stumps and stuff over there. Intention also is dispose of,
You took the stumps out?
well, it was already there.
Okay, they were already existing?
Yes.
Okay.
So the
Any cut
arborist
trees
that
haven't
came
been
in,
stumped, right?
No.
Okay.
no, the arborist that came in found those over there. I don't know if they were there from when these guys did the work before or what have it, but he's got
Yeah.
a small pile over behind the chipper that looks like just kind of some stumps and branches back there. That will be,
Oh, wow. Yeah, I see something.
yeah, you can see it. It's like right behind the chipper. Yeah, and he hasn't done any other work since these are taken, so. But that also will be removed from the area. And then, I guess this tree in the front, the town cut down last year and left there. I'm hoping to dispose of that somehow. It's massive. So I'll figure that one out.
Okay, board, do we have any questions on this?
Questions? No, I would say, but I mean, for the further work, you'd have to file, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I would request a notice of intent because you wanna do the lawn and, you're very creeping towards the 50, between the 50 and the 100, 50 and the 0.
Okay.
If you were just cutting the 5 trees and you were gonna clean up what was done, I would say you could do a request for determination of applicability, because you're outside and, but I think we wanna see if you're gonna do lawn, see a couple of plantings, see the actual, and probably some sort of, indicator that there's wetland there in a no-touch area, so that there's, if it's not that easily seen, like if you didn't see it and the arborist didn't see it, I don't know what it looks like on that edge, but we need to figure out where you're not gonna encroach anymore, whether it be 25, 35 feet, and then the rest would be, you'd wanna make the lawn.
Yeah, so I can tell you that, I mean, the majority of it, the angle of the property and everything, it's gonna be outside of about 30 feet, with a little bit towards the back, but if we need to adjust that, that's not an issue.
What? Yes.
I
don't
agree
know if
that it
you
would
want-
be an NOI because
Yeah.
of its an increased
I
scope
don't know
of work.
if you allow them to use the existing as-built plan, or if you want them to draw up something.
I-
new.
As long as we can have accurate records of what he does out there and what we're allowing in the order of conditions, I think that's fine. But this is an as-built, so it should be accurate, and you should have ties and, be able to show the locations of the trees to be removed. No stumping, this is the limit of the lawn area, you're gonna propose boulders or split rail fence, so that you're not gonna go to the other side.
Okay.
Or a future person is not gonna
Sure.
go to the other side. Whatever you would like for your preference. You can make a stone wall if you want it, or something nicer.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give you my card, so if you want, you can stop by, I'll give you a fresh plan.
Sure.
So in the meantime, you can't do any work until we get the NOI. Okay.
Yeah, so part of that, if you can install erosion controls,
Okay. Like the
where
baffles.
you think that you're gonna want your limit of work to be,
Okay.
and get those out, and then call Steve when those are installed. So it's stake straw wattles.
Yep.
You can do, and that'll just show visually where you're gonna be, this side you're doing the work, that side you're not touching.
Right, okay.
So I would scoot around as tight as you can,
Mhm.
and then that'll be helpful, and then you'll have everything in place for when you come and file and get your
Okay.
permit. Sounds good?
Sure.
You know what the game plan is?
Yep.
Okay. It's just pretty close, like if it was the
Oh, understood.
75 to the 100, yeah.
Understood.
Just give me a call.
And you can bring Maria the check, but we'll get you on as soon as possible, and if you get everything filed, our next meeting is December 2nd,
Okay.
which is right around the corner.
Yeah, so when you file, there's a little delay, so
Sure.
you have to have, the ad has to be in 5 days before the meeting, but it takes at least 10 days for the newspaper to run the ad.
Okay.
So
So you gotta do this now.
you have to apply everything probably about 2 or 3 weeks.
I mean,
ahead of
we're
time.
we're in no real rush. We have
Just
no
so
intention to
you
use
know,
till
like,
spring.
you
Yeah,
come in and say,
right.
it's December something, I'm gonna file 4 days before, here's Maria.
No worries.
Yeah, if you could get it in
It's
2
the ad
weeks.
that's gonna slow you down a little bit. It
Okay.
takes about 2 weeks to make sure that runs properly.
Okay.
And he's gonna install the stake straw wattles and then call you.
Sure, that'd be great.
So I told him where he is gonna plan to be his limit of disturbance, is where he's gonna put the stake straw walls. And then the rest is gonna be either restored or untouched and, you know, move that chipper out of there. And then as part of your scope for your order, you're gonna take that pipe out, tell us exactly what you're gonna do under that
Okay.
permit. Okay?
In the meantime, between now and the next meeting, should he remove the chipper from that location?
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna move that,
Yep.
everything that you
Yeah,
that
'cause we're not
shouldn't
doing
be
any
in
more
the,
work, so
between
the guy's not gonna
yeah,
live there.
the
No
straw
problem.
wattles in the wetland, all that stuff,
Yep.
move it to the other side,
Okay.
outside of there. And then we'll just keep it contained,
Sure.
and then I'll be ready to go once he gets the permit.
Easy enough.
Awesome, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Was this your plan or was this?
No, that was, his
our
copy.
Okay, next item on the agenda is 7:15 PM, notice of intent, public hearing, 38 Railroad Ave, Howard Ballou. I cannot locate the newspaper ad. Do you have a copy by any chance? Okay. I'm gonna have to. I'm just gonna have to probably.
Maria would put in there, did you place the ad?
The office was, well, they brought it up to my attention.
I'll just have to pull it off my phone. Just give me a
It smooths the
second.
process when you bring it in.
Well, yeah, Maria typically has been printing.
Them?
Yeah, and putting them in the.
We'll note that that's a requirement when you come to Douglas again to bring in the ad. Sorry, we didn't know that, I didn't know.
No,
that.
sometimes we have it and sometimes we need it. And it's just nice when somebody has it.
Sure, well, we'll note, to make sure to bring it in anytime we come to you, we don't want to delay.
Have that issue, for sure. I think Sturbridge is one of the only towns that I know that we have to put it in. And I think they bring it, they require it. I'm sorry, I wasn't aware of that. We did scan an email, the certificate of mailing, but here's the original, just to make sure you have it.
Oh, great.
Thank you again.
You say 10/24 it was in?
5 days prior to. Oh, we had sent this, this was when we filed this very early.
Yeah, and then you missed the.
By a day. Or
Yeah.
is that Columbus Day? Was it that day? By one day we missed it?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. In possession.
Must have been a long time ago.
What's the name
It's
of that
before
site?
10/11, right?
What's the name of the site?
38 Railroad.
Reservoir.
No, you're.
My public notices. When was that Columbus Day?
It was in October.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
The 14th,
I think it was the second, second.
before the 13th.
Yeah, 2 meetings October or what?
Yeah,
2?
yep,
Seems like it. didn't mention these.
I think so.
Columbus Day was the 14th.
The 7th and the 21st.
Correct.
You were here on the 21st.
Yes, briefly, just to ask for that site inspection up front, if you could, before the meeting.
Yep.
Talked about the ad, something about the ad, the 21st as well. Or maybe it was that year, just missed it by a day.
It was, that Monday was the, if we had that extra day, that Monday,
of
we
the
could have got
holiday.
it in. If Monday wasn't the holiday, we would have put it in that Monday.
This all kind of going back.
Look, Carrie's there.
What? Yeah, I know.
Paxton. If it's you know, it's a bad sign when it's not in the file, because Mary usually gets a copy.
Um, Do you know if you paid the bill?
You would, we pay all our bills, I can say that.
Well, if you had like a receipt.
No. I did look through my file to see if there's anything in here, but
Yeah.
the office keeps, anything online stays in the computer like that, it doesn't always come out. Oh, boy.
Do you think that you could call anyone to see if...
The only one would be Mr. BALLOU, if he recalls seeing it himself. Call Mark Fugakowski, mobile.
Calling Mark Fugakowski, mobile.
Not if you look, it's our fault.
Do you want to just double check? We can take something else and then
Yes, thank you.
you can see, we'll give you,
Yeah,
we'll
thank you.
just table 7:15 till
Thank you.
8 p.m.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Public notice for a public hearing, right?
Yeah, you need that.
Usually that website is pretty good.
Maria's pretty good at that too.
Yeah, well, she's been for like
Falls
2
through the
years.
cracks.
Okay, so let's take under discussion and deliberation. Requests for minor project change. Denise Davis, 161 Maple Street. Come on over.
Tom Rabula from Goddard Consulting, here representing Denise Davis, here with Franz Burke, the developer. So we are coming before you to request a minor change to the project in relation to the wetland restoration area that we had originally proposed. Early October, Steve went out to the site and noted that the impact area, the wetland which was impacted, had revegetated considerably since our impact had occurred earlier this year. Franz had already taken the efforts to redistribute topsoil over the area, and following that over the summer months we got a pretty good growth, and we're at this point vegetated well over the 75% threshold, which would be kind of our established baseline for determining success. So given that, we kind of understand that we still need to, clean up the site a little bit. However, we feel that going in and disturbing this wetland that's revegetated itself is probably, beyond, counterproductive. So our goal at this point would be to revegetate the 20-foot buffer zone along the I believe eastern side. Actually, the site is flipped. Western side of the impacted wetland. So we have coming down along the 20-foot buffer. It did not revegetate as nicely as we would have liked, nowhere near as much as the wetland itself. And so we'd be looking to modify our restoration.
Yeah, so I got a video, so you'll see that to the left of the far erosion, the silt fence is the vegetated area, and then between this area right here, you'll see, which is that buffer zone that he wants to look at. So here's the site, and I go out every weekend. So he's doing a nice job controlling the site material.
Looks like there's something on your camera.
Is there?
Yeah.
So what,
See that on the
Yeah,
top?
I see it.
All the pictures have been a little foggy.
I gotta
so
clean my lens.
you do need to
Somebody's
clean it.
thumbprint is
Yeah,
on
I
it.
think it's your thumb.
This is the area here. That would have been, they would have gone in there, ripped all that up and put wetland plants. So
Yeah.
to the right here, between the two silt fences, where he kind of wants to do a buffer zone planting instead.
So, in terms of what's changed, the area is slightly smaller, so we reduced the number of shrubs by 10. We cut the number of ferns down by half. That's just because we're dealing with a smaller area and still dealing with the spatial requirements for plantings. And also changed the seed mix from a wetland seed mix to the conservation wildlife mix, which, yeah, equally suitable.
Yeah,
seed mix.
in your packet, we have a very nice request for the minor project change with the existing conditions and recommendations.
So this is what
I
you're
think-
putting in?
Yep, that would be the seed mix that would be.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great. I mean, the New England Wetland Plants does a great job, and the conservation wildlife mix is a nice mix that, yeah, has a nice diversity and works well in the buffer zone areas on sites, so.
I would agree absolutely not to go in and
Disturb the other.
disturb
the
what's
regrowth.
going on there.
And certainly, you know, we're obligated to do our monitoring reports, and we'll include the wetland as part of that assessment every year. So just, you know, so that we're aware of what's going on there and
Yeah, I don't
clear
think
that
there's
those
anything
impacts
to
are
be
healing.
gained by going in and going with the original plan.
So, yeah. It just pays, you know, when you, like we talked about before, and you're probably aware, but when you do replication area, it's when you have the right elevation, the right soil replacement and the hydrology.
Oh, yeah, it
that's flowing
happens
through
quick.
It just happens quick, and natural.
Nature.
It's when it's too high,
Yep, then you have problems.
and you get problems by a foot or two.
Yeah. We've had
Better
some
low
too
than-
low
better-
ones too.
Low ones too, you get a little wet.
Pond.
Yeah, you gotta put in the button bush in those situations.
Did you have a question?
No, it's just two comments. We had actually, I originally cleaned that area up prior to us coming in for the meeting when I found out we were in wetlands. I kind of cleaned
Yeah.
it up right away, and like,
Yeah.
you know, gotta straighten this up. So it's had all summer and most of spring
Okay.
to get going. And then as far as this plan goes, provided everything's okay, we're gonna go ahead and do it on Friday.
Okay.
Oh,
Great.
great.
I've already ordered the materials.
In the snowstorm?
Yeah, I was
Is there
hoping it was a
snowstorm?
different
Snowstorm's
species
coming
of
Friday.
milkweed.
Okay, maybe it won't
That's
be.
not the variety of milkweed that we commonly see around
They
here.
hadn't said that wasn't gonna happen.
But I'm sure it's just what
Yeah.
comes with the wildlife mix.
Yeah.
Correct. It comes in a little.
It's November for you, huh?
Scratch that, I'm
We
going
can
skiing.
ask
so-
New England
the
winter storms
consultant.
change 7 times before they get here.
What's your opinion of this butterfly milkweed?
Is that contained
It's
within
in
these?
the New England Conservation Wildlife Mix.
There was a recent article in Mass Wildlife about the 5
okay.
types of milkweeds that exist in Massachusetts, and this may have been on their list, it just wasn't one of the more common ones we see around here. We're used to,
Was it one of the 5 on the bottom, or?
I didn't think this was
Glenn, you know
Okay.
anything about it?
Butterfly milkweed?
Yeah.
It's native.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, it is, I just
maybe
looked it
even
up, it's fine.
One of them is state threatened. We have swamp milkweed and I think
Swamp
butterfly
is the
milkweed.
There's
Swamp
swamp milkweed,
Butterfly milkweed might be state threatened.
Oh, pretty sure.
that's purple milkweed.
Yeah, okay.
That's not the same one. That's why I was hoping it was purple or common, because purple, the thing with purple milkweed is it doesn't necessarily maintain its establishment. Like, you can put it there, it won't necessarily stay there, because it's more rare.
Yeah.
But if
Finicky.
you use common milkweed, it sticks around a lot longer, but that's more of an upland plant. There's swamp milkweed as well, but then that's a swamp plant, and you're like in between right now, so.
Yeah, we don't want swamp. Not
Right,
in the swamp.
correct.
So I think unless,
This is fine.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, in terms of substitutions that you can make within a seed mix, you can request specialized seed mixes, but having them just pull out the butterfly.
No,
milkweed
I'm
is
gonna-
pretty
I was gonna have her
difficult.
I'm gonna
them all
trust
out.
the wetland scientist that made the seed mix.
Yes, yeah, okay. All right, so,
think we'll do it
board, any
Sunday.
other questions or comments about this minor change? No?
Yeah, it's just that, you know, if you're running into weather issues,
Probably gonna do a Sunday. Sunday's high at
But
47.
even that, do you recommend, I mean, holding off? I mean,
I think we're still okay, you know, as long as we're within the next, if we're in the next week in the ground, I think we'll be all set.
Pushing it after that.
Yeah, after that, I think you start
wanna
moving
wait
into
until after
questionable.
winter?
At this point, I think we would try,
Try, okay.
yeah.
The weekend looks good, and materials coming in on Friday.
I don't
so-
want
About
to
tomorrow?
force something and
Huh?
ruin
Should do
it.
it tomorrow.
Materials not here
He's
yet.
just trying to do
I
it.
just
Yeah.
started it. Otherwise I would.
Go pick it up.
Great, well,
All
I
right,
think it's a good change.
I would like to make a motion that we approve the minor project change for 161 Maple Street.
motion's been made,
Second.
seconded by Katie Grace. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Good
Good
job.
luck. Hope
love to see this
the
weekend.
weather cooperates
Yeah, I know.
for you.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do a Sunday, it's a high at 47. Saturday's not too bad, but
Saturday.
36 on Saturday.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just
We'll take
briefly,
them Friday, Sunday.
on this matter, it's up to you if you're asking.
Thank you.
I do recall Maria telling me a few times, you have to have it in the paper by this certain date, and that's all I recall on it, and I can't get a hold of it. So I pushed my office to ensure, which is my son, to ensure that we put it in the paper on the date that she told me we had to get it in by, but that's all I can say until as soon as we don't have it. And the contractor that's putting the foundation in is apparently backlogged. I just talked to the engineer, who's the one that sent it to the contractor. I've asked for a continuance, because we don't have the legal ad here, into your, what is your next scheduled meeting?
December
December
2nd.
2nd.
It is what it is.
Do you want to try to locate it online at all? I mean, I
I
can keep
won't
it
be able
open
to.
to the end of this meeting.
I won't be able to find it online. I can't get a hold of the office. They'd be able to find it, but I can't find it.
Yeah.
What
we-
what is your local paper that you do?
Worcester Telegram.
Telegram.
Yeah, it's my public
If you're
notices.
still going, I'm
Yeah.
gonna try one more location to see
Yeah.
if we can find it. Thank you again.
Okay, yep. Maybe it's hidden under some other date.
Could be.
Maybe it's not 38, maybe it doesn't say it in
Maybe
the
it didn't
title.
happen either.
I mean, can't you search by NOI number?
That's what I thought.
Okay, so what's
How can
the,
I public hearing
yeah,
be
for that,
notified of both?
request? 45, 42 Huff?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Which one is
You're in for 42 Huff? Okay.
Oh.
All right, so under this.
Can I ask a quick
Yes,
question?
sure.
How long do these ads stay in the paper? We're always
Twice.
asking, when did you post, when
Well,
did you?
yeah, it's twice.
No, but if you did it like 6 weeks ago, it wouldn't be listed online yet. I went back online. I went back as far
60
as.
days.
Yeah, but no, my question is it a one-day listing? Or does it stay there a week, or does it?
Oh, I don't know.
I think it's 1 day,
It's either 1 or 2 days.
1 or 2 days, but it has to be at least 5 days before the meeting. Just 1 day.
You gotta give the
But
public.
if you go online, if
Yeah, I
it was
know.
one, it doesn't matter
It's
if
online all the
if it was
time.
just as long as it was 1 day, you'd find it online. Because online you go back
Online?
60
Yeah,
days.
I understand that, but.
Like, she's got the legal ad copy here, and then she's got the my public notices with, it was in the 1024.
What problem?
This was for the RDA for tree removal.
Oh, I was gonna say,
That's
jeez,
Maria's
you got it right there.
No,
Yeah.
I think that.
I'm not
they never
that slow.
did. Well, somebody dropped the ball.
So, okay, so let's, take under discussion and deliberation number 5. Request for a certificate of compliance, Bonnie Johnson, 42 Huff Road. Come on over to the table and name and address for the record.
I'm Bonnie Johnson. I live in Boylston,
Okay.
Pine Street in Boylston.
Thanks.
And I'm Byron Andrews, Survey and Engineering.
So Steve, you want to give us a little recap? So we had some discrepancies on the disturbed areas and the drain that was leaving the house. So compared to what the permitted order of conditions had shown, the permitted plan. So we're just looking for some explanation, and I guess moving forward, what would be required to meet the order.
Okay, do you have copies of the recent plan? Somebody brought them up today now.
Oh, today?
Yeah.
Is that them there?
Yeah, this is, I think it's basically the same as the previous one, but I want to make sure that you had some.
I got 25 Fairway View.
You got it right
Yeah.
here.
Oh, okay, maybe it was just that one that was brought up.
Yeah.
What was the date on it?
It's the October 18th, so it's probably the same plan that you had.
Again, November
I have
4th.
October 21st.
Okay.
There you go. That's stamped in the 21st.
So I did go out with Travis, and looked at it, and just to go over where, you know, the pipe, how the pipe is actually, the couple hoses is going out of the basement and off your property and into the woods. And then some of the disturbance areas, you come down the easement area to the left, looks like it was disturbed more than it probably.
The gravel driveway here was not within the limit of, was outside the original limit of work.
We didn't really do anything there. I'm gonna let you talk and I can fill in.
Okay.
I don't know.
Mrs. Johnson has some video and some pictures from before the construction took place, and actually that's, I found that helpful. It shows that the area behind the house and the area where the gravel driveway is on the side was fairly bare, and it almost appears, and I can't tell for sure from the video, but she can show you the video if you'd like, that the area where the driveway is might have been more opened up than it shows on the plan. Also, another thing regarding those plans there, I talked to Mrs. Johnson, and the area that we have behind the house labeled as gravel driveway is not a gravel driveway. That was an error in our field crews, how they located it and what they called it. The issue is that area was and still is, you know, pretty rough gravelly area. Didn't really have good loam behind there previous to that. Ms. Johnson said she'd be happy to put some seed down there, and hopefully that would be adequate. That would certainly put the conditions back to what they were previous to construction.
Yeah, I think is through the commission, because I think a lot of the members are new. So they weren't here when the original plan was approved. So what they're looking at with the as-built is you look at the tree line from the original plan in the limit of disturbance, and then what the as-built shows. And
Yep.
they don't match up.
That actually
So
makes
the
a
pre
lot
and
of
post.
sense, because, so we were looking at this compared to this, right? And so we're seeing what looks like a tree line here, and then it looks like the tree line has been there, right?
Okay.
We do not have observation to whether or not they're actual, the only tree marked on here is the one way over here. There's no trees marked here that could have come down to make, so this, and then you came into this project having not seen
Correct.
this, so
Yeah.
you draw the tree line, oh, this is where it is.
Yeah, it wasn't there.
And we were saying, oh gosh, the tree line moved.
I checked the survey data on that, and what I think happened there is the tree line that shows there isn't where the trunks are, but where the drip line is.
It's a limit of work.
It was a limit of work, yeah. And I guess what I'm saying is I don't think any trees were disturbed, and that the location, the tree line showing differently on those two plans might believe that.
Before the existing well, the tree line is on the left side, on the outside of the existing well on the plan in front of you. See the existing well?
Yeah, it's right
it
there.
should have, the well wasn't in the woods.
Correct, yeah.
The tree line was, what you're saying is
It was
the tree line
accurate.
was always
It
here.
was always here, because the well was never
It was
in the
only
woods.
drawn here to show a limit of work.
Right.
So nothing, we're saying that nothing happened here, and then here, likewise, I mean, this is very close to the wetlands, but
They shouldn't have put the tree line as the
up
limit of
here,
work. They should have just left the erosion controls.
there.
Right.
So this was always gravel.
The gravel
We
came
did
down.
nothing.
Right.
We did
Okay.
nothing to those.
But you see the confusion, but.
I kind of get
They're
it.
different, you
Yeah.
know?
Okay. Okay.
And what happened with the hoses that were evacuating water from the basement? And-
So we put a sub pump in the basement, okay? And we had it just pumping out. And the neighbors said, hey, can you do something?
Right.
Because that's not, you know, the person who built it had also set the sub pump way too low, so it was pumping all the time.
Mhm.
So since we had somebody go in and fix it, every time I check it, it's not pumping anything.
Mhm.
So we have no idea. I don't think there's gonna be a lot of water coming out of
So you're not
it.
gonna have frozen groundwater in the all winter.
No.
When did it get fixed?
When did it get fixed? April. April into May. I think, yeah. I think by May.
So it's after that, though, I
No.
think-
Did you see? You didn't see any water. You just saw the
I
hoses.
just saw the hoses, I
Yeah.
never saw water.
Yeah, the,
That's after we fixed it, 'cause prior to us fixing it, you would have seen water.
think. But is that the plan to leave those hoses like that?
So we don't even have a clue if they're needed at this point. I mean, we could let it do what it was doing and just, drain out of the house, which there was always a water channel right there next to the house.
I think she could certainly shorten up the hoses so that it remained on the property if nothing else.
That's fine.
No dry well?
That's what I was thinking.
No, I mean, our thinking is that any water coming out of the foundation would be groundwater from that area, so it's not like it's pumping it from somewhere else. And we don't believe that it's really gonna be that much water.
You don't think it's an erosion concern?
Erosion issues.
No, we don't think so,
I
yeah.
don't think so.
So the roadway wasn't an issue, right? It's not an issue at this point. It was always existing.
Mhm.
The
Gravel.
gravel was already there, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, you have to figure out how to discharge the water and keep it on your property. That's coming out
That's
of the
fine.
basement.
That's fine.
Whatever mechanism.
Without any erosion.
How did you get the sump pump to stop pumping all the time? Did you have people in?
Lifted it.
I had somebody and they lifted it, it was just too
Yeah, the
low.
water level
The
was-
water level was way too low, and this is my frustration is this was in my contract that the guy was supposed to build, and put a sub pump in there, because we didn't know. We just didn't know. Now we go down there and it's dry all the time. So we're not seeing, we have no idea, and I keep running out and checking the hoses to see what's coming out,
But
and
in
we're
the
not seeing
spring, when
anything.
the water level gets high again,
It could.
it could.
It could, but can I show you, this is what it used to look like.
Yeah.
I mean, if
Well,
you
you
look
had
at all that
You had
water, all
groundwater
that water,
elevations on
Oh,
the
wow.
plan.
okay?
And you just put it
So
in the
if-
groundwater.
So if we just let the water come out, they're gonna be way less than this.
Yep.
Was there a basement before?
No,
Was
Oh,
it
okay.
slab?
Slab?
it was, yeah.
Was it supposed to be a basement?
It's not a usable basement. I don't quite understand. I am where I am. If you could roll back a clock, I wouldn't have built the place, frankly, at this point. But I'm not there. I've built the place and I tried to do the best. I feel like I've bettered the property. It looks a lot better. If you haven't seen what it looks like, I have the videos here of what it looked like. It was,
Can you dump that into a dry well?
If it's only turning on a couple times a year, it shouldn't be eroding anything. If you put a foundation in groundwater, you're gonna be pumping the groundwater. So before us, we have this as-built. Is it substantially meeting the plan from the order of conditions? That we can issue the certificate of compliance and close this out with the condition that those hoses to be removed and any discharge remain on site and be taken care of on site.
I'm just reading the notes.
We're on the fence on this one.
Okay.
I'm just trying to figure out if there was, if the
So,
original plan had a
there's-
basement.
So
and
pretty
it's not
much,
there.
we
Oh, it
have
did.
to,
Okay.
Oh, yeah, we did not deviate from the original plan that was submitted.
I have a copy of the original conservation plan, if that's helpful.
yeah, that's there, right there.
Yeah,
Yeah, so what we need to determine if, the work that was issued on the order has been substantially completed at this time. Has it been expanded on, has it been changed, has it been substantially? Now, Byron did write us a letter saying that it does meet, substantially the conditions of the original order. He's certifying that. So we had a little discrepancy with the limit of work versus the tree line versus the right-of-way gravel. The site's not eroding, the house is where it was supposed to be, there's not a bigger house, there's not expanded lawn area. The hoses do need to be taken care of,
I could just unscrew the hoses. It's not
but
a,
for the future.
I
So
can,
if somebody else goes there and
Well,
has a
I'm-
problem in the spring, we don't want to have Steve go out there and find out it was pumping into the wetland across the street. So there has to be a permanent solution to that.
just let it drain from the house. I don't think there's gonna be that much. I think we fixed the problem.
I think you probably did, but we can't go by we think and probably, you know, if we have a real wet, if we have a lot of water and that water table rises
So-
and that starts pumping, I'm a
But-
little bit concerned
But
about.
may I say that I've been out there after heavy rains recently since we fixed it, looking, and it isn't pumping. It isn't,
Yeah, it's not surface water though, it's groundwater.
well, I would think,
It's,
Okay.
you've got a
I don't-
groundwater elevation and it was set, the sump pump was set into the groundwater. So that's the majority of the time where the water level is wherever you had it set before. So we just have to ensure that there's gonna be no additional erosion or pumping towards the wetland. However, you wanna take care of that, but your sump pump water needs to stay on the lot. That's the end of the story with that. So however you wanna do it, we're not the sump pump experts. But we know that the hoses are gonna need to be removed
or we'll just cut them, so they're not
as long.
as long. I mean, that's,
What- You
I
can
have
do
no
whatever you
problem
wanna
doing
do
that.
with that.
right, that's what we talked about, and
Great.
I just didn't want to do anything until I heard your final solution.
Steve?
You want my opinion?
Yeah.
I think she should put a sump pump, a dry well in it.
I think there needs to be a permanent solution.
Well, yeah, and I think we did request that the last meeting, but
Afraid there's a-
let me just take a peek at what the minutes were.
And if the dry well overflows, then it's gonna do what, but at least the majority of the time, it's just gonna go into the dry well and then percolate, because you don't, especially in the wintertime, if it starts leaving the site, it's not a big site, so it's not gonna take much for it to leave the site. It's like-
Well, the dry well for the sump pump is just best practice. It protects the house as well. I mean, I was watching an episode of This Old House where they put one in for the sump pump to protect the basement, to protect the water from leaching back towards the basement of the house.
And at our meeting,
Plus it's discharging back into the groundwater.
yeah, that Mr. Andrews said that his client stated that the hoses are for the sump pump. He will speak to his client about their plan for the hoses. Ms. Sharkey suggested an infiltrator under the gravel driveway. So we didn't hear a plan for the hoses yet.
We can look at it and see if we can propose a dry well or something to handle.
What is a dry well? I don't understand this. What is that?
It's when you cut a space a hole out of the ground, and then you put like large boulders or something to keep the walls up, and that's where you pour water into.
where the discharge will go.
So it's a very nice hole in the ground.
Well, they have a structure more.
They do.
Structure, crushed stone, and you just.
I mean, you already have all the information so that you could just, you could use everything that you've already got. All the information with the high groundwater and stuff there. It says, do a new as-built, take care of the problem with the hoses. All of which can be done under the request for the certificate of compliance. So, what are you thinking?
I'm just discouraged. There's been so much water on this property, and we have minimized and just gone above and beyond. And I just feel like I'm getting held to a standard that there's not another house around there that's doing anything like this. They're doing whatever they want, which is fine, but I don't know.
Well, last meeting, we did request for the hoses to be taken care of.
Well,
So however that, whatever that
it's not
solution
even-
is.
So the sub pump isn't even moving any water right now.
Right.
So, you know, I could have, I guess I would have just taken them off. That was my solution. I was just gonna disconnect them and let the water pump, because I don't think there's much water. Could we, I mean, I don't wait till next spring and see how much water is coming out.
It's up to you. I
Could,
don't-
but that would just hold up your certificate of compliance that long.
Is there a difficulty? I mean, sump pump is not a difficult
Yeah.
engineering feat.
Yeah,
It's
no, I
probably
mean,
the
we
simplest
could-
thing you
yeah.
can design.
I mean, we could certainly design a dry well or
I mean, it's
or
not,
an infiltration.
in the
Yeah.
scheme of things, it's relatively inexpensive.
Right, yeah.
You know, the cost of putting in a house, a septic and a well and everything else, it's minor.
Yeah.
It's probably the easiest and the least expensive thing to do in a house.
So
Yeah,
how much do you
yeah.
think it is?
I'm not sure about it, I mean, but,
Yeah, I mean, that's.
compared to the cost of the entire project, it's.
I know, but
You know more than, he would know more than I, but it's.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the
simplest-
budget for
Right.
for it would
Budget
be,
is
but-
max.
And just saying
That's
if
my
it's not
problem.
pumping that much, then,
Yeah.
you know, it wouldn't have to be
Yeah.
that large.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think the commission just doesn't want it, you know.
Yeah.
You gotta remove the hose, my recommendation, remove them altogether, just don't unhook them. They'd have to get rid of them, pick them up and get them out of the neighbor's yard and.
It's not in the neighbor's yard. It's not in,
Well, it's off your
It's
property.
in the right of way.
it's in the right of way.
So,
yeah, I mean, it's
That's-
it's
I
up to our
mean,
client.
Or if there's an elevation that you can determine for the bottom of that sump and show us that it's outside, it's above the groundwater. You guys have that on there, right? For the septic, you determine groundwater.
Yeah, it's on the septic.
And then the foundation, floor is like right at it.
Yeah,
So, I mean, we don't know what's happening in there. So
Yeah,
we just
yeah.
need a solution.
okay.
And then if somebody else drops the sump, and that's not our control. We just need to make sure anything coming out is contained on the property, does not go on other people's property.
All right, we'll
I guess we'll have to figure something
we'll
out.
discuss it, yeah.
Yeah.
So, what do you want to do, board?
I was gonna say,
This was just a discussion point, right?
Well, we have our request for
No.
a certificate of compliance.
you want a decision or you wanna wait till next meeting?
Yeah, maybe.
I mean,
Yeah.
the applicant can request, continue the.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the question is, if you're willing to look at putting a infiltration system in, or whether we want the board to give a determination tonight.
Or you can maybe submit a letter of the elevation of the existing sump for our file. And that if it becomes an issue, I don't know. I'm trying to be creative at 8:10.
Maybe we,
So we
yeah,
did
let me
request
discuss
for
it
it
with
to be
our
taken
client.
care
We'll-
of last meeting, and
Yeah.
it was a month ago. Or no,
Yeah.
it wasn't. It was 2 weeks ago.
No,
So I guess we can't tell you what to do with it.
The issue is
It's
the
an
hou-
issue.
Well, the house is for sale, so if you're just pumping it into the surface water, and then whoever owns the house, and then if it's a large quantity, then it potentially is gonna go down the right of way into someone else's property, and then those people are gonna say, well, what was the commission thinking about allowing us to pump all this water that potentially goes to someone's property? That's potentially that could happen.
Right,
It could or
right.
could not, but it
Right.
could. So,
Right.
the commission's looking for documentation or design, so that doesn't happen.
Provides a permanent solution.
Permanent solution, so when she sells it and then she's gone from it, and so the new people take care of it,
Right.
it's gonna be us and the new people, and you're gonna say, well, why didn't you take care of it when you had the chance?
Right.
So right now, you're just gonna be, who knows, you could be pumping for weeks, a continual hose pumping water, and
Mhm.
it's not gonna be contained on the property after that.
Maybe what we should do is we'll discuss it apart from the meeting, and we'll get back to the board on that.
Okay.
So you
Okay.
want a motion to put this in advance?
Yeah, we can keep it under the
We can just
deliberation.
Continue it.
Good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
you.
you for coming in. Glenn, anything?
No, there's nothing.
Okay,
I'm gonna have to go
okay.
on that. I
You'll
just
be on
stayed to
the-
let you know. Thank
Yep.
you, I appreciate it.
Thank you, December 2nd,
December 2nd, thank you.
and if you could just let Maria know so she can.
Yes,
print
we'll
out.
check on Maria and the legal ad and where that thing was.
Yeah,
On that well thing,
Yeah.
I mean, for myself,
Yeah.
you were talking the same thing. If you had a water table, if you have a septic design and it has a water table, the high water table on the septic design, then you have a floor foundation of the cellar. Obviously, there's gonna be something that's gonna say, and then also you have, I'm doing a zoo in Attleboro right now, what we're looking at, Cape and Zoo in Attleboro, you know, for them. Yeah, Lou Stevens out of New England Science Center hired me to do this, but I'm doing a whole gradient of groundwater table movement. So if the water table was at 90 on the Perk and Depot results from the soil evaluator, and the cellar foundation is 88, well, then obviously, you're probably gonna be in that water table that you're showing, right? I mean, that's what you were talking about, but the other thing that you would also, I don't even know how big the lot is, and I'm probably just stepping myself in, which I shouldn't, but I will anyway, so I'm thinking about also if there was a gradient of the groundwater table, if you understood that, then obviously the leach pit would be on the down gradient side of the water movement. So in the Cape and Zoo, the reason why I say this is because we have a water table higher from the hill above us. It comes through the pond, because there's no outlet to the pond, and it's moving through 2-minute perk rate gravel, and at the low end of the pond, where it's on the other side of the pond, which is 240 feet in diameter of the pond, we have a well over there, and we're looking at the gradient of the water movement, so as it goes through the pond. That making sense?
that's
think,
why
yeah.
towns adopt a 1
So the
foot
point,
high
is that
groundwater.
the
I don't
leach
think
pit,
it should-
the leach pit would be on the down gradient side of where the water table is moving, so it won't come back
We can't
into the
really say
water.
much because she left, but the
Scientifically.
original house had a slab and this one.
Yeah, I
doesn't.
understand. And it probably doesn't have a low point to drain to, so you're looking at water table, but it doesn't sound like there's a water table with the septic, there's groundwater, and then there's a certain size of a lot, and there's a groundwater movement from high to low, and if the leach pit was on the down gradient side where the water was moving to, then when you put it back in the leach pit, it's not gonna be coming back towards the house, because it's moving in the direction of the water table movement.
Over
So I
50
guess there's
feet.
the leach pit and how it would be positioned on the lot,
elevation on
right?
his project?
Huh?
I don't know.
But
Did he?
that's a general
Well, I
idea of
asked
how you
that,
would look
and
at that.
did you ask him?
What's that?
So your elevation on that Coltech that you designed, did you do estimated groundwater, or did you
Yeah,
actually? Did you actually go with the wetland?
Did you see
No,
what
he wanted
did you
the
see
soil.
his answers,
Did
the
you-
engineer's
Did
answers?
you,
I didn't write the answers, I submitted, yeah.
Oh,
No, you didn't.
well, I didn't read anything because we're not open. That was my
Oh,
question.
no, Maria we PDF'd it, and she said to me when I was here this morning, she
It
PDF'd
was in
it
an
to
email.
Okay.
all the people on it, answering all the questions, but we don't want to talk that because this is not a public hearing. But yeah, that
Right.
was sent in, and the engineer had 3 ways that he estimated high groundwater table, was the wetland,
Yeah, that's
some
what
So we'll
test
see you
hole
next
that he
meeting?
did. Excuse me?
Yeah,
We'll see you next meeting.
yep.
We will.
Sorry.
But I'm just trying to help
Thanks, Ryan.
people.
Thank you.
You're such a good helper.
Yeah, I bet.
Byron, what else are you here for?
Fairway View?
Fairway view.
Okay, come
This is
on
the one,
over.
Number 6.
That was all number 5, right?
That was number
That was
5.
number 5.
Thank you for your
Right,
time.
right.
This is
Thank
number
you.
6.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah, so they didn't have the as-built, or the proposed.
Right, we were missing one or the other.
We were missing the proposed.
Okay. And now we've got the proposed.
And he added some other stuff. He added the drain, and some of the retaining walls. Do I have it here? Here we go, 25. Here's the COC, right here, on the TV screen. Place looks like. They actually stayed within the limit of disturbance. They didn't clear, you can see by the red tree line.
Oh, I totally see the limit of disturbance. Don't get me wrong, there's just way more driveway in the wetlands than was planned.
In the buffer zone?
Yeah, so this is 100. So the deck's bigger. It's got stairs.
Right.
The house is maybe a smidge smaller, but the deck is bigger and the driveway is bigger. There was just a little tiny corner out here before, and now this whole turnaround's out and it's in the 100.
Well, luckily they made up for it with the less disturbance within the 60 to the 0 and where
was
the
60 to
existing well
0?
is. So that the driveway.
Yep.
So you see where the approved limit of disturbance is.
Yeah.
And you gain all that square footage, which is more important, I think, than
Then
size
the
of
driveway.
deck. Yeah, and the size of the deck where that's at the
Just talking about all this.
Yeah.
and by the driveway.
Understood. No, that's great that they were able to do that. It's just like, how do we retain control of these sites?
Substantially in compliance.
What's the percentage?
It's a relative term.
Sure is.
Oh, it's terrible.
I'm sorry, you
It's like
can, maybe we
comparable.
could try to change the definition, we can have it defined.
Right.
Can you remind me what this proposed drainage easement was? Do you know anything about that, Byron?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Where?
So right on the wetland? So was the drainage
Oh, that
dumping
might-
into the wetland?
No, that might be for the subdivision.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but it's right on the... Was it supposed to be feeding that or something?
No, there must be a detention pond or something.
Oh, in the back?
Something over there. Probably
No. 16,000 square feet, that's it.
On that lot.
On this lot, right here.
Right. They don't have the other lot.
There might be another detention,
Okay.
drainage easement on the other lot, separate lots.
I think that's
This
what the
red?
subdivision.
The red is the driveway. This is
Yeah.
where the driveway was.
That's the 100-foot buffer.
And the red is gonna be the new driveway? I mean,
It's
it-
what they
it looks
already
like-
did. This is an as-built.
All right, then what was this?
That was the
That was
original
the plan.
proposed.
That's where the red
Okay,
should be.
and the red,
Yeah.
Right,
okay,
So
Right.
So the pavement extended
Right.
into the 100-foot buffer zone.
Yep.
yeah, it does.
big time.
Which would you know, if they proposed it at the time, would you approve that?
No.
Sure you would.
I
I
think
would have made them move the house this way too, while I was at it.
Well, they kept everything
Yeah, we
except
may
the
have,
50.
because
This was before your
what is this
time.
distance?
It was.
There's the 50. So what is this, really about the 75 here? Right?
2016.
And I'm not saying we haven't we have approved plans that are well over this amount into, we've
I
approved
mean-
plans where they're poking into the 50 this much.
If
Yeah.
the limit of disturbance is staying where it is, which that's what you're most likely will happen, then, you know, that's a lot better for a
It
buffer.
is.
Versus having a small driveway and clear cutting
Oh.
that whole side.
I want both though.
Well, sometimes you need a balance.
The key is, you know, especially keeping everything outside the 50, you know, structures, and they kept all the.
And they did.
Yeah. And that was
They're
the,
well
that was the
outside
main
the
point
50.
when they, you know, when they were filing.
What are these drains?
We've approved worse than this.
Those are
Yeah.
the foundation drains.
Okay. They're not,
Yeah.
I mean, that's not part of the original plan, right? Am I reading that correctly? I don't see them in black, I only see them in red.
Probably, yeah.
So there's 3 drains, and 2 of them are shooting down this way.
Did you bring the original plan?
No, I haven't, sorry.
And we were just talking so much about pumps and drains. It's like
Trying to
there's
mind
3 of them running off
Well,
of here
that's
that I don't see.
at least on their
So
property.
that's, right, that's the same thing.
At least.
Groundwater, but it's going on their property.
Right, it's going outside,
Right, which is okay.
and this is wetlands here, right?
Right.
So
So this is
sometimes.
draining towards the
Which
wetlands.
is what we typically design,
Okay,
but it's because this is on their own property. So if their property line was right here, then they would have to keep the water on their own property. But this is all their property.
oh, that is, back
This
this part of the
is,
property.
this is
Okay.
the whole property, so we're
I'm
looking
sure you
at the
caught it
houses
in
like here,
2016.
Mhm.
and there's acres
They
and
got
acres
3
right
acres
here.
back behind it over there. This is 3.8.
So we don't mind roof drains or foundation drains dumping into wetlands.
Because we are glad that it's a PVC drain and not just like dumping off the roof, right? At least it's,
Well, roofs would be okay too.
yeah?
It's clean, it's considered clean.
Oh, okay.
Foundation drain outlet was out the back
Oh, there you go.
one.
The ends of the deck over there.
So there was one, they put in 3 short ones.
Good heavens.
But the,
So that one is showing probably the same distance as the other ones.
Yeah.
I mean, foundation
Just
drains, it's
additional.
just, they just put them where, you know,
Where it makes sense.
yeah, it's below ground. Goes the daylight.
Just-
They have to have them for building permits.
Yeah, building home. Thank you. Board, any other questions? I'll entertain a motion. If Paul's ready? You ready?
Yeah.
You okay with it?
Mhm.
Good catch with the drains. Yeah, you're picking up quick.
Well, Byron didn't put the black one on there.
I did-
The black, you
The
know,
proposed.
proposed.
Oh,
You
yeah,
didn't put it on
Proposed one
there,
back here
Yeah.
somewhere.
Right, yeah, I came out like right there.
Yeah.
which is weird, because when you use the same file, let's see. Oh, yeah, I got
Yeah,
the drain.
the other stuff's on there,
Yeah.
yeah, but for some reason the drains didn't show up.
Nope.
I'll make a motion that we approve the request for the certificate of compliance for 25 Fairway View Drive.
Okay, motion made to issue.
Second.
Second, all those in favor? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm gonna watch out for these people in the driveway.
Okay, did everybody have a chance to look at the meeting schedule?
I
Yes.
looks reasonable enough.
Do we land on any holidays?
Oh.
No, Marie is usually good.
My mom's birthday, does that count?
Yes.
Yes,
No.
just for you though.
No, she's usually pretty good about moving them.
We always do it where pick a date and then make sure it's not a weekend.
They'll look okay.
Any election day, May
She
11th?
moves them.
Okay. Did we,
She looked at it, I asked her, yeah, so.
Yeah, she's got November
I thought we
2nd,
had,
so-
oh, we don't have town meeting?
No, so it's usually, town meeting's the first weekend in May.
This is
May.
the second Monday in May.
There you go,
It
May.
is May 4th.
We have an election though,
Okay.
May
sometime in
4th is
May.
the first Monday, and
Mhm.
the
May
election's,
4th.
the
No,
turn is on a
12th.
Tuesday, is on a Tuesday.
Okay.
This is a Monday,
All right, I'll entertain a motion to accept this for,
Well, just noting, we only have one per month, and this past year we had 2 a month and many months.
Well, we do. We
No,
got
we do.
2 in
August.
March, 2 in April, 2 in June, 2 in August, 2 in
Oh,
October.
You gotta
I'm blind. Thank you.
It's a
It
good,
depends if there's holidays.
and it says 2019 meeting schedule on the bottom.
Usually,
Yeah, but it says 2020 at
yeah,
the top.
we-
Okay.
years we find that, winter things slow
What is our
down.
vision going to be?
April 21 is a Tuesday.
Ooh, is it really?
Yeah,
I'm sure it's-
and
April
Monday's not a
21?
holiday.
So
I mean, I don't have a problem with it, it's just weird.
No, but you're right, it should be the 20th.
was this 2019?
It was a
It's not
template,
updated?
she just updated it.
No, it is, because every other date thus far made sense,
Mhm.
right? 6, but 20 is Monday.
Is it
So I just
a
checked,
That
like,
Patriots Day?
March 2 and March 16.
Oh, yeah.
Is it Patriots Day?
Oh,
It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Marathon
It'll be
Day?
Something.
One of those probably.
So we can go to the 27th on a Monday if you want, or the,
Or stick with the 21st. I don't care one way or the other.
well, the 21st you start
I
running
may-
with planning board.
I may have both of us
Right.
with a conflict.
Maybe-
Okay.
Maybe the 27th.
Yeah.
I'd rather do the
I'd
27th.
rather stick to-
I
I'd
guess I
rather
don't
stick to
care.
Mondays, because none of us will show up if it's on a Tuesday.
What
That's-
do you mean?
But I'll show up on Monday and,
Because, well,
oh.
you're so used to it. Just-
Okay.
So are we changing April 21 to
April
April
21 to
27?
April
Yep.
27th.
Good catch.
Good job.
Well, I just.
People,
Absolutely.
June 1 and 15. Well, that one I was trying to find if there were any major things that I can't do.
Oh, December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day. Is that an issue for anyone?
Nah,
No.
I can still make it. That's the one that is my mother's birthday.
I'm going to be in Hawaii. So
Are you?
yeah, I wish.
Well, the Midway movie's coming out. Did you see it?
Remake.
Yeah.
The other one.
Yeah.
That's it. Everything else looks
What's the
good.
original
okay,
one?
entertain
Yeah,
a
I love it.
motion.
I love that.
Motion to accept the meeting schedule.
As amended.
For 2020.
As amended.
Henry Ford.
Great
Motion's
cast.
been made,
As I recall,
Second.
the original.
seconded by Art. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Okay, and we have, back up to the top, number 2, Whitin Reservoir Estates partial release for certificates of compliance. Did you want to do anything with that, or that's going to be carried over?
I'd rather carry that over, because that came in, I haven't had a chance to review it,
Okay.
make sure it was done correctly.
All right, so we're gonna pass over that. Return, request for the return of funds, number 3, Southeast Main Street, Wetland Crossing. Do we have a
Did we-
request?
Didn't we do that already?
Was that
Yeah, I
Margaret
thought
last
so.
Yeah,
week?
we
with
did that
the-
last meeting.
That was the culvert,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
We did
approved
that.
it.
That one,
And then,
and
Is
same
that in
thing
the
with
minutes?
Chase.
Should be.
okay,
She was here and
Yeah.
had photos and we approved it.
I think
then we have
And
vouchers.
then the Chase, is the Chase property on there? We did that too.
We did the chapter 61, yep.
Yeah. I
Yes.
don't know why she kept that on there.
It keeps,
I'll tell you.
Margaret Bacon came and talked about this one last night.
Right.
You're right,
Yes.
we approved it.
Yeah,
Yes.
but I think it's already done.
Yeah.
me too.
The Alice Chase one,
We did that
We did,
also.
so
we
said-
did that too.
Because
Mhm.
the commission voted before not to exercise the right of first
Right, we
refusal.
said we didn't want to take it now either.
That's right.
I think the son was here.
Oh, yeah. Was
I don't think so.
he? No.
Who?
Paul.
I didn't see him.
No, I didn't see Paul Chase.
The voucher
White
is for the
chases.
return of the
Is it different
bond.
Chase?
What?
I didn't see any chases.
What did we ever do with our
You didn't
715?
meet Paul?
He did not
Or
advertise.
any other ones.
So he's got to reapply?
He's, nope,
Or
we're just gonna,
continue
Or
it.
something.
yeah, hold
Looks
that
good.
for now.
No, who was here was the one of someone that brought the land.
Yeah.
Maybe that's who it was. But we did that one already.
Yeah, we did it.
Okay. The voucher that is on the list as number 8 is for that return of the wetland, funds only. And then, Steve, do you have anything unanticipated?
I don't.
Wait, who's
Okay.
getting
Well, I
their
had the,
thumbs
I had
back?
the violation.
The Chase,
Okay.
I mean, the,
Good one.
Southeast Main Street, Wetland Crossing.
They're
yes,
getting
Number
their money
3.
back.
The one that Margaret
the
presented.
one that Margaret presented
Yep.
us 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks
So
ago.
you want the trivia of the?
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
What's
so-
the prize?
I don't know. We should probably, well, I don't know.
What is it?
Now, wait, we're forgetting the
We don't-
biggest
we
issue we
signed-
Yeah,
got.
we
We
don't
didn't
really
get
do,
any more information on the chairs.
authorization.
we don't really do,
Well, Maria's gonna, she's
That's,
redoing it, she's
I
redoing it.
don't-
When they get their
She's
bond
re-
money
she's-
back,
she's
she should put in the
researching,
wetland
she's
crossing
reviewing it,
correctly.
and you're gonna have a letter.
yeah,
We're signing
planning
their
board
money back
would
to her.
know,
Really?
yes.
Okay.
So there's a,
Good
you
one.
might know this, so if you know it, don't say it right away. So in Douglas, how many, there's a watershed, so, you have the Milkweed River
Yeah,
and the Blackstone
Yep.
River watershed.
yep.
So how many watersheds are actually in Douglas? And what's the name of them?
Oh, geez, I won't get that one.
Trivia question?
So I think you told us this once, and I think you said, thought you might have said there were 3, but I only know of 2. So I'm gonna
So
go
there's
2.
3. 4.
I'm gonna go 2, and it's the Blackstone Valley watershed, and the other one is this French River watershed, also the Quinnebog, and finally the Thames Basin. If there's a third one, I don't know what it is.
Well, you just mentioned it. You're right. So it's
Two
the
different
Quinnebog.
names.
The Quinnebog and the French are 2 separate?
They are.
Okay. So it is 3, but I did manage to name them all.
Yeah, it's just weird.
Very good.
No, I've been thinking about it a lot.
Have you?
Yes,
Oh.
it's just very interesting
Yeah.
how different watersheds seems to have different cultural populations, that people from Blackstone, Northbridge, Uxbridge, what have you, don't go to Webster for anything. Right? And people in Webster Dudley know people in Thompson, and that's that other watershed, and like nobody wants to cross the watershed.
Because of how
And people
the
take
land was
146.
developed.
People on 146 like barely know that 395 exists, and vice versa. And it's just been fun living on that divide and being like,
I'll
you
come
know
up with
Price
something-
Chopper
Something
exists.
different next time.
Anything else? Yes?
That's it.
Yes, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion made.
Second?
Second. All is in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Thank you very much.